Hello and welcome to Circle Time, the Early Years podcast. I'm Glenn Denny. Now, this is the last episode for season 3, and we've got something different planned. My guest on this edition is the brilliant, lovely and wonderful Laura Hodges. And she is an amazing coach, she's an amazing leader, she's an amazing fountain of knowledge about early years, and also somebody that really relishes in the joy of early years. So, Laura, what is different about today's episode?
Today's episode is going to have a little bit of a twist on it, isn't it, Glenn?
It certainly is, Laura.
Today, Glenn and I thought we would do a host to host episode.
Let's see how this is going to work. This is going to be interesting because we're both kind of used to our own way of doing our podcast, which I think when we were talking, some of our bits are quite similar, which is quite nice. We kind of just free form and just go with it. So this is going to be fun.
I think it will. And I've got to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous being in the spotlight. I'm normally in charge here.
Yeah, same. It's a little bit like who's leading it, but actually we'll lead and learn. There you go.
Oh, I
See?
love this.
Thank you.
That's exactly why you're here, Glenn. Loving it. Okie dokie. Let's make a start because we did have a bit of a chat before I hit record, and you've had an interesting journey to leadership. So I'd just love it if you could share a bit of that story with me.
Okay, well, it's unusual. I don't normally get to talk about it this way. So I've been in early years for about 28 years. So I started, I know. Yeah, I look it.
Absolutely not. The look on my face was like, how is that possible?
Believe it or not, yeah, I've been in 28 years. I started off as my first job title was nursery nurse, which shows you how long
Oh,
ago it was.
okay.
I so wish I was actually NNEB. I love that little bit, but no, I'm not. I've got an HNC in childcare and education. But yeah, I started off that way and I've kind of moved up. I've done various different roles. I've actually been a deputy manager a couple of times now. I've been senior early years practitioner. I have been room leader, room manager, and now nursery manager as well. So I've managed an outdoor nursery, which was a huge learning experience for me, but so good. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And the freedom I had to manage my nursery because we were part of a small group. There was 4 nurseries in the group, but I got to manage my nursery my way because each nursery was completely different to the other one because of where it was, the setting, the kind of wildlife and the nature around it. So it was just wonderful. And now I manage a small community nursery in Yorkshire, and it's just been amazing. But that passion has just grown and grown for early years. Like you say, and I've written a book because I have this thing. I absolutely adore toddlers. 2-year-olds are just amazing little creatures because they're feistily independent, but actually they still need you quite a bit. So it's that bit where they're just amazing. They just melt my heart. So that's why I wrote a book about them because, well, why not? And doing podcasts and Circle Time Radio and all these other bits. It's like, yeah, I just don't stop. I live and breathe it.
I love that. And I have to agree, toddlers are the best.
They are.
They are so much fun. And I think you've wrapped it up beautifully there, saying, they're sassy, they're full of personality,
Mhm.
they know their mind, but they still need you. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think we all have a little inner toddler.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think I ever grew up from being a toddler, really.
No, I think that's fab. And so, why is it that brings you joy in early years? Because you said going to an outdoor nursery was pretty cool. You got to put your own stamp on things. What was
Mhm.
that about? Tell me more.
That that did. I mean, I've always felt that being outdoors with children is the perfect place because there is freedom. I mean, I've worked in a nursery where um, we had 36 preschool children, and 36 preschool children is like having a pressure cooker but not knowing how to use it because at some point it's going to explode. The
Yeah.
noise levels are just horrendous. Put 36 children outside the noise level goes down, but the engagement goes way up. And you're like, this is amazing. This is working. This is what it's about. And there's the joy right there for you. Being outside with children because they can engage, they can move. Children are kinetic beings. They need to move. They need to move and in different ways, in gross motor, in fine motor, in order to learn and experience this planet that we live on. I sound like a hippie and I don't care. Um, but this is what it's about for me. And I'm like, when I see a child engaged in something, I don't automatically jump in and interrupt. I'm very much about stand back.
Yeah.
I will, unless I'm invited or I feel that there's something I can add to it without interrupting it, then I just stand back and I watch because that engagement with the children is just amazing. And you think, well, they're learning and I'm not having to teach them. It's not about teaching. That's why I never call myself a teacher. I don't like being called a teacher. I'm not. Teaching is in school. That's fine. That's perfect. That's what they do, and they do it brilliantly. But I'm early years, and I'm about the child experiencing and doing, and that for me is the joy. A child working something out for themselves, and the expression of absolute elation on their face when they've achieved something that they've worked so long and had to puzzle out to do. It's just like, and you share that moment with them. We're so privileged. We're so lucky.
We are. I can't echo that enough. And I think what you said just then is you don't get involved straight away. I love that. We need to do more of that. We need to
Hmm.
watch. And I think it's one of the biggest honours being invited to play by children.
Hmm.
Oh, you've made it. If you've been invited in, you're part of the gang. I love it. But I think seeing those light bulb moments that children make when perhaps they're completing the simplest of tasks, we might be able to do it easy, eyes closed, hands tied behind our back type of tasks. But for that child, it's a magical moment. It's a huge
Hmm.
celebration. And I think, you're right. We've got the best job. We get to be there with them in that time.
Hmm. We do. And I think you think about it, we spend a vast amount of that child's day with them. I'm not criticizing working parents. We have to. This is the world we're in. And I'm not criticizing them, but we spend a vast amount of time with these children, and those children need to trust us, and we need to show them love and respect, and that's what we do, and we do it so well. And that you're showing them new skills. Like for example, some of our 2-year-olds were learning to put their own coats on, and we do it in a completely ridiculous way. And one of the parents, it was home time, and the child had got his coat, and so we do a little rhyme called "Hood to your toes, over the head it goes." So they literally have to put the jacket on the floor, put the hood to their toes, put their arms in, and flip it over. Arms up and flip it
Yeah.
over, and that's what we do. So one of the parents was like watching the child put their jacket down and then move round so that they were stood by their hood, and they were like about to bend down, and I just tapped the parent on the shoulder, said, "Just wait a minute, watch."
Yeah.
And they were about to go in and like pick it up and do it the right way around for them. They're like, no. And the child went and did that and then showed them and just looked at the parent and they're like, oh, I'm like, there you go. So it was just little moments like that. And you can share it with the parent as well. And you're like, we didn't know they could do that. Like, they can now.
Exactly. And I've been on site visits recently, actually, and some children have just learnt that trick. They call it the superhero trick,
Yeah.
because it goes up and over, it makes a whoosh sound. But I've jumped in and said, "Oh, do you need some help?" "No, I can do it." I'm like, "Okay, all right." The coat gets laid out, and exactly as you say, I'm like, "Okay, you've got this, no problem. I'm here if you need anything." And they're very capable of doing those moments. But isn't it fun to teach in that way?
Hmm. Because you can, you're not restricted as such by a rigid curriculum or whatever. We create our own curriculum, and I think that's one of the most freeing aspects of early years. We can create our own curriculum. We can, you know, bring about those moments, and those moments can happen naturally, or they could be, we have fixed times within the year where we do certain things. Yeah, but we're free to kind of explore and follow what the children are interested in. So we don't have to be fixed to anything in particular. And it's so lovely watching children just have a go at something. And, you know, where we are, we're quite a rural nursery, so we have a lot of tractors and things going by, and the children are really into that. So we have areas for digging, and and sometimes they want to be tractors, or we constantly have the theme tune to Tractor Ted on loop, which Yeah, there's certain days when you're like, can I really, after the 80th time of hearing that theme tune, can I actually work in early years any longer without going around the bend? But you're like, nah, they're enjoying it, whatever.
That's it, isn't it? You kind of go to bed with some of those random songs in your mind when you're an early years practitioner.
I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you the words to any kind of song in the charts, but give me a nursery rhyme, I'm there. I'm on the dance floor to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh,
You know.
absolutely. You throw them shapes. Go for it. So you know what I wondered? Working in early years, I think, is a really joyful career. And I think it's a really magical place to be. It comes with its pressures, it comes with its
Hmm.
responsibility. But at what point do we stop flipping the coat over our heads and having fun?
That's a really good question. I think I'm going to find that one really difficult to answer because I haven't stopped flipping the coat. I haven't stopped running around the garden like a complete Looney Tune because, well, it's what I do. I think is that bit where if you don't, if you get focused on all the pressures, yes, there
Mhm.
are pressures, let's face it, but there are pressures with any job that you go to. It could be working in Aldi. You've got the pressure of a massive queue of people
Yes.
all trying to get their shopping through. You could have a pressure working in a cafe where you're trying to get people's order. Wherever you go, there are pressures, and early years has their own pressures, and we're looking after small people who come with extra pressures. But I think if you go into work and you're not finding that joy that we spoke about, if you're not going in there purposefully with a heart full of joy to go and meet and greet these amazing small people, then yeah, maybe that is the time to go. But I think you need to find that joy every single day because it's there. And like, if the pressures are there, what can you do with your colleagues to alleviate those pressures so that you can find that joy because the joy is still there. The joy never goes away. That joy is still there, but the pressure sometimes just it kind of puts our blinkers on if we're ignoring the joy, but the joy is there, and you have to go in with that heart ready to find that joy.
I can't agree more. I think you call it the blinkers, I call it the hamster wheel. You just get caught
Yeah.
up in the mundane, must do this, must do that, must do this. Now, don't get me wrong, those jobs are important. You know, it's
Hmm.
normally underpinned by policy and process. So we do need to get those things done. But it's like the book. Have you ever read it, Eat the Frog?
I've heard of it, but I've not read it.
It's all about getting the tough jobs done. Eat the frog, get it done, and then you can have fun, right? You can move on
Hmm.
with your day. But I believe it's all about your mindset. And just as you said, unless you're coming into that nursery or into your setting or whatever kind of childcare setting you might have, with that heart full of joy and that intention to have fun, because you've got to have fun, right? You're working with children. You need to have
Hmm.
fun. Unless you've got that inside and you're feeling it and really embracing it, it's going to be a tough day, right?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to come in with that moment of joy. I mean, I'm lucky I've got a team who come in. I mean, one of my teams, she's completely bonkers, and I love this woman to within an inch of my life because she comes in every day. She calls herself the bag lady because she literally does come into work every day with bags full of stuff. And we both get the
Oh,
idea of stuff. And this stuff is provoking imagination, it's provoking curiosity, and that's a big thing for me, is provoking that interest, bringing those invitations and provoking a child's curiosity, because they are, let's face it, they're very, very curious beings. They don't know the stuff that we know. We're grown up adults allegedly, but they've got that curiosity and they want to know more, and this is what my wonderful colleague does as well. She comes in with stuff and it could be just an empty box, but it's an amazing box. And what could be in this? And I think that's just wonderful, and she does that. She comes in with that joy, no matter what the pressures have been the day before. Today's a new day. We're going to go in and we're going to find that joy.
I love that. And as you talk about your bag lady, and I say that with a positive tone, um,
Hmm.
I can recall a bag lady in each one of my teams.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
must have one that
Yeah,
brings in all these random items, like you say, but they are the most magical items for the children.
they are.
They're to go on adventures with. And I think everyone needs a bag lady. I think that has to be a staple.
We do. We both know there's a really wonderful shop near where I live. and it's every so often they do this little sale where you fill a bag for £2, and the amount of, I mean, if anybody outside of early years looked at this and went, what a load of rubbish. It's
Uh,
not, it's amazing. And there's so many. I pick up stuff and go, oh, this will be useful. I mean, I could walk out of there and spend a fiver, and I've got thousands of hours of curiosity for a child just from a bag of rubbish for £2. And we both do the same shop. We're both like, oh, they've got the £2 sale on. It's Wednesday. It's your day off. Are you going?
the owner of the shop see you two come in and think, oh, they're back.
hmm I mean, I've done it before with one of my a previous setting where there was three of us. There was myself as the deputy, the manager, and our third in charge, and three of us went to IKEA.
Oh.
It was a brutal day, but it was also the day that in the children's section they had this bit where in one of the dividers there was a little gap that children could crawl through.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
there's a photo of me somewhere where I actually did get down on my hands and knees in IKEA and crawl through there.
Oh, I'd love to see that sometime.
No, I've got it deeply hidden somewhere.
It's hidden in the depths.
Good.
But you're right. I think coming back and being that child, right? You were having fun crawling through
hmm
the little tube in IKEA. Um, you've got to have some fun. And I think coming back to your bags of bits and bobs, it sparks imagination. It sparks children to think for themselves and be free with their
hmm
ideas and play with their ideas. And I feel quite strongly about imaginative play. I don't think we see enough imaginative play anymore in nurseries. I think a lot of our offerings of activity and engagement has become quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Quite closed because of the
Yeah.
resources that we have available. I think, we're very lucky to have a lot of technology around and a lot of advanced resources, but there's nothing better than a cardboard box.
Oh my goodness, no. And you say cardboard box, and instantly I'm like, oh yes. Again, me and my bag lady, we love a cardboard box between us. I mean, we can't wait for when I do supplies like janitorial supplies, or we get massive boxes, and we're like,
Yeah.
this is exciting. Some of our parents have got so used to us, they're like, I've got this box. Do you want it? Yeah, bring it in, and we'll have a box day.
Love
I
it.
love a box day.
Yeah, I think we really must find a way of spreading this message and sharing this joy and excitement within the early years because I think we're at risk of losing some of our sector, with individuals not maybe having the right experiences or not finding their joy or their why when they're with the children. But the imaginative play has got to be there. Otherwise, we'll lose our entrepreneurs.
100%. I think, you know, there is, yeah, an inordinate amount of curiosity and imagination from our children. And why aren't we doing the same? Why can't we go out and be superheroes? You know, childhood never grows old. We grow up, but why do we have to lose the inner child? Why can't the inner child be the outer child? Why can't we go to work and play? That's what we should be doing. And I know a lot of settings do get bogged down with some unnecessary paperwork, like doing
Mhm.
masses and masses of observations. Whereas with my setting, I do one observation a month, which is linked. And then we do wow moments, just a general photo for the day. That's it. That is the be all and end of all of our paperwork, apart from, the stuff that we have to do, like baselines and 2-year checks.
Yeah.
That's fine. But the rest of the time, we're actually with children because that's what we come in for. And I think a lot of settings need to rewind a little bit and go, actually, are we giving our staff too much admin to do? And, you've probably seen this, Laura, as well, where you've gone into a setting and they're clinging on to a tablet for their dear life.
Yes.
Put the tablet down. I
Yeah.
mean, the amount of times we've actually lost our tablets somewhere in the nursery because we put it down because we've gone off to play.
It's in the
And
bag.
that's what it's about for me. And I'm like, yeah, great. I mean, what my outdoor nursery setting was great because actually we didn't have tablets. We had mobile phones, but they didn't have SIM cards in. They were just connected to the Wi-Fi. But it was great. All my practitioners had one. We were really, really quite fortunate that every practitioner had their own mobile device, but it went in their pocket. So we didn't lose them, but neither were they stuck in their hand all the
Yeah.
time. And I think you need to let go of that and go and play.
Yeah. There's a fantastic TED talk from a little girl who advocates for serve and return and the impact that has on brain development. I
Mhm.
don't know if you've seen it. If
I've
you've
heard
not,
of
I'll
it.
drop
Yeah.
you a link. But she gives tablet as an example, somebody using an iPad as a short experiment, and it's so powerful. I'll
Hmm.
drop a link in the narrative of our podcast if anyone wants to check that out. But you're right, let's just put down the tablets, let's try and alleviate what we can. There are some settings that don't have that choice, and they've got processes and policies, etc., that they have to follow. Um, but find the joy somewhere in your day.
Absolutely. It's there.
Yeah, really have some fun. Okay. Oh, it's such a good conversation. I'm loving life today. And for those that, won't see the video, I'm grinning like a goon because I'm loving
Same.
all your stories. Um,
So
oh,
I was
yeah.
going to flip it round, Laura. So you've
Uh-oh.
asked me where I find the joy. Uh-huh. I'm going to turn it round. Where's your joy in early years? What really motivates you? Because I'm seeing you, like you say, you were grinning like anything, and that is it. That facial expression that you've got with that big grin, that's what it should be every day for someone in early years. So where's your joy? What makes you motivated and joyful?
I think for me, it's a bit of a two-pronged approach. So throughout my journey, and I started early years quite young. You would never believe it with the looks I have now. But I stepped into management quite young, so I felt really responsible for a team at a young age. So therefore, I kind of worked with the children and seeing them learn, develop, and grow, but also for a staff team. So I really found a passion in nurturing my staff.
Mm,
So in recent years, that's where I've channeled my passion. But just like the light bulb moments, just like the toddlers that you talk about, I see that in staff. I see that in adults. No two adults are the same.
yeah,
Everyone comes from a different background with such special gifts to share, whether that's cultural experiences, lifestyle experiences, knowledge, hobbies, all of these things makes everybody unique. And I think if we can harness all those unique personalities and gifts, that makes the day really exciting for children. But it also makes a really special team. Your culture
hmm,
capital will be off the scale with the amount of
hmm,
sharing and giving and experiences you can offer. So for me, the joy is when not only the children have that light bulb moment, but the staff do too. Seeing staff learn, grow, and develop and really find themselves and really find what it is that they do really well and see them
yeah.
do it really well is where I get my joy.
It's feeling valued, isn't it? I link feeling valued. You said about cultural capital, and yeah, every staff member has something unique about them and their life experiences that they
Yeah.
can bring in.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. And that should be valued and celebrated. And again, that brings the joy as well.
It does, yeah. And I think, like you mentioned earlier on, we're not stuck to a rigid curriculum. We are in such a special time now since the reforms where settings can make their own curriculum. They can
Hmm.
shape it, deliver it, disguise it. I don't know. However they want it to look, they've got the power to do so. And I think if you've got a whole team at your fingertips of knowledge and skills and special offerings, that surely has to feed into your curriculum. You've got to utilize it and make it worthwhile.
Absolutely. You do. I mean, I think we talk about like a well-resourced nursery, and instantly your mind goes to, the furniture, the
Yeah.
toys, all those. The well-resourced nursery starts with your team
Yep,
because of all the
absolutely.
knowledge and experiences. You could even have somebody that's brand new to early years, but they've still got some life experience behind them. Or the other flip side with somebody new to it is they're a completely empty vessel, and you can fill that beautifully with such joy and love for the whole sector and what they do.
Yeah, that ties in quite nicely with some of the work that I do with Realise as an apprenticeship provider, making
Mhm.
sure that we're able to offer a real rich curriculum to apprentices to make sure that, as you say, that empty vessel is filled with excitement, joy, and possibility, because that's going to get you off on the right foot in your career in early years.
It really is, and I think as well, it is it's providing those opportunities for learning and making sure if you've got an apprentice or somebody that's new to early years that you are giving them that opportunity to share in an activity that they've never done before. Like,
Yeah,
come with me and I'll show you how this works. And like, come on, let's get involved in this. It could be something as basic as making Play-Doh for the first time. I mean, I had one member of staff in a nursery never made Play-Doh in her life. I have to, I mean, I will blow my own trumpet here. I am the king of Play-Doh. I can make Play-Doh at the drop of a hat. I can do the recipe off the top of my head. I do not need it written down. I will make Play-Doh in 5 minutes done. And I love it. I mean, I hate it when it's been sitting around for a while. I have a textural thing. I don't
Oh, and it
like
goes
it.
a bit slimy. Ugh.
Mm, no, not slimy. It's the crispy when it goes a bit,
Oh, a bit
bleh.
dry.
Yeah, when it goes dry on your
Anyone
fingers.
could see Glenn's
But when
actions
it's
right
fresh,
now.
oh, let me at it. But showing a new member of staff how to make Play-Doh that's never made it, and they're like, "This is amazing!" You're like, simple as that.
So it's funny you give that as an example. When I first entered early years, initially I started as a children's entertainer. Bit of a
Okay,
patch there for
I've learned
you.
something new. That we may have
There
to
we
come back to
go.
this.
Face painting, magic, balloon art, you name it. But I then went into a nursery, and part of my interview process was to make Play-Doh with the children. Did you think I knew how to make Play-Doh? No.
No.
Did we make Play-Doh? Well, in my opinion, yes, we did. We had a fun, sensory, messy, sticky activity, and I definitely needed more flour. But you know what? We had fun. And the
Yeah.
children loved it. And that is what I'm known for. When I go into support settings, I like to get a bit messy. I like to get the Play-Doh out because it's just an endless possibility Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Um, but most of all, you asked about the joy, and it sits with the staff, but it also sits with the children. And for me, it's having those laughable moments. Hearing a child give a proper belly laugh because
Oh,
you've done
yes.
something funny is great. So the fact that my Play-Doh was an absolute flop, they were having the best time. They were giggling like crazy. And I think that is just beautiful.
It is. I mean, when you're sitting there and you and a child are just giggling away at something, it's just wonderful. And this is it, like I was saying earlier, it's like you find those moments of joy through the day. And I think if you're sat there with a child and you're just laughing over something ridiculous like Play-Doh stuck to the top of the table, go for it. Enjoy it because it's just going to be the best bit, and you will remember that. And the next time you have a tough day, remember that. I mean, I used to do a thing. I don't so much do it in this setting. That's a really weird thing. I don't. All my previous setting, I have done it in other settings where I've done the jar of joy.
Oh,
So
tell me.
a big Kilner jar.
Okay.
Other clip block jars are available, um,
Yes, there's
but
no
and a,
sponsorship here.
no, well, that's all right then. Kilner jar. Actually, genuinely, they were Kilner jars. But and a pack of little square notelet things and a pen. And every time something joyful happened during the day, you'd write it down, date it, fold it up, and put it in the jar. But the next time something really negative happened, and you're like, "Why am I doing this job?" Reach into the jar, pull a note out, and go, "Oh yeah, yeah. That rings a bell." Pop it back in the jar. You've got reminders. And before you know it, this jar gets really, really full because there are so many moments of joy that all those negative moments you can remind yourself of all the good stuff because in that negative moment, that's all you can think about. And it's like, right, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm going. Bye. I'm out the door. Aldi is calling. I cannot wait to stack those shelves in Aldi. I really can't. I have worked in a supermarket. I would never do it again.
It's not for me. It's
trying
very
to find trying to help somebody find a tin of carrots. It's on aisle 7. On you go. But yeah, there are moments of joy, but sometimes yeah, you do get bogged down and you forget about it. But things like that can really help. Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky. I've got a whole memory full of really amazing kind of joyful moments. I remember another one for me was my very first nursery that I worked in. For some reason, our baby room went really, really quiet, and we had one child, we had one baby.
Oh
So it
wow.
was me and this one baby. Um, and we had a really difficult moment. It was lovely because we developed such a close bond, but it was awful because we also rotated staff at the same time. So I was getting ready to move to a different room, and we're like, you're going to have to come in here and do a handover with me because they're going to scream the place down if a completely different face comes in.
Oh
And for me, it was me stamping my foot and going, do you know what? This child is going to lose that joy because I'm going. I don't mind that I'm moving because I will still see this child, but I don't want that moment of joy to be lost for the child. So luckily, my manager listened to me, and that's what we did. We had proper handover, so the other child got used. This child got used to another member of staff. But it was just. that those cuddles as well. Oh, when a child comes up and gives you a proper cuddle just because they want to. Yeah, I was saying to you before we started recording as well, like we had an Easter egg hunt as a fundraiser for my setting because we're a charity run nursery. And actually one of our little children, well, there's a lot of our children there, but one of them decided he wanted to follow me round for the morning. And
Oh,
I just put my hand out instinctively and we just held hands and walked round. And it
oh.
was great. It was lovely. One of the other parents noticed, went, "You've got a little friend there, haven't you?" Yeah, that's fine. I love it.
And that's really special, isn't it? Because it gives you that sense of, I've made that child feel safe. I've
Yeah,
given that child a sense of belonging and they feel like they're there with me. We're on this journey together.
it is. I think there's that, you said it there, that sense of belonging. And if you've got a sense of belonging and the child's got a sense of belonging,
Yeah.
then you belong in early years. And that's where
Yeah.
you should be.
Absolutely. Glenn, we are almost out of time. I feel like I say this as part of my script in every episode. I should learn to make longer episodes if I'm honest. But we've covered so much.
We
It's
really
been a
have.
pleasure. Really, it really has. I've loved chatting with you today. And I normally try and end with a bit of advice, but I actually want to advocate for your jar of joy. I feel like
Go for it.
that should be something that anybody listening thinking, what can I do with my team? I'm on that hamster wheel. I know what Laura's talking about. Glenn's advice here could be really handy. Let's start
Go
putting all
for it.
those joyful moments in that jar because you're right. When days get tough, and they will be tough, we work in early
Hmm.
years. It's by no means is it a breeze of, unicorns and glitter, although that's how I see it. It's tough. It's a hard job. So each time you're finding that tough moment, see what's in your jar of joy.
Definitely. I think that's it. You need to remember those joyful moments because they're there. They are there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to wrap it up. Glenn, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, it's been amazing. I have loved this. I've loved that being able to just share our experiences and go back and forth and just, yeah, I feel all set up. I'm ready for work tomorrow now.
I feel like we might need a part two.
I'm up for that. Well, amazing. That was the brilliant Laura Hodges with me, where we did our joint episode. It was so good to have her with me. Now, I hope you enjoyed the episode and I hope you enjoyed this season. As I said, this is the last episode in season 3, 17 editions altogether. And thank you so much to everybody that has taken part, all the amazing guests, some who have been there at the very last minute and some who planned for quite a while and have been so glad to have them on the podcast. Now, you can tune into any of these podcasts anytime because they're there 24/7 wherever you get your podcast from. But also, don't forget our sister radio station, Circle Time, the Early Years Radio. You can find that on your Alexa. You can find that on the Android app as well. So make sure you tune in. You can find it on the website at circletimeradio.co.uk. But for this season, from me, Glenn Denny, thank you so much for listening.